We are the Professional Development Club, and welcome everyone for this workshop. And this workshop is very much focused on your resumes. Like we will be talking about different skills and how you have to update your resume, and what are the key things that you have to consider when you're writing your resume. If you go to the next slide. This will be our agenda for today. Like I'll be just talking about a PDC and how it's gonna help you, for students and how it's gonna help you in your the career growth. And the next topic would be focused on importance of resume, and we'll be going through different processes of how you can enhance your resume and also your LinkedIn profile. We're going to touch a little on LinkedIn profile, and the topic three would be we're going to run you through a couple of samples of a bad resume and a good resume. And and then we'll just open the floor for the questions. So this would be our agenda. So this will be more of an interactive session. So please, if you guys have any questions or anything, just hop in, unmute yourself and ask the questions. We for sure should have someone monitoring the chat. If there are any questions, then we'll bring it up. So who are we? Most of you might be aware about us. Like we are the Professional Development Club, and more focused towards the graduate students and the Faculty of Engineering. Having said that, we have projects, we have partners and industries, into multidisciplinary different branches like computer science and mechanical, chemical. We started in 2019. Asta Tiwari, who is here, like the who is controlling all this, the logistics and things. So she's our president, and we have our alumni relation coordinator. Her name is Flora. We call her Flora. It's E. So she and E, they started this club in 2019, and now so here's our executive team. If you want to know who is Asta and others. We started this in 2019, and since then we have been running into workshops, and we have been trying to bridge the gap between the students and the industries, where students can get into the industry projects, and we kind of help them. We kind of are like the moderators who help them build the proposal and guide them through their project. That's one of the things that we do. And keep going. So this is our executive team. You guys can read. Okay, so we have event manager as Patricia and Karam. Karam, are you here?
I don't think so. Karam is here right now.
So
he was traveling. Yeah.
So we have so I would just say like the executive members who are here, maybe you guys just want to self-introduce, say hi, and then so maybe
Hi.
Wow.
Hi guys. Hi, I'm here. So I'm Asta. I won't be able to switch on my camera, but I'll do it sometime later. But hi guys, I'm right here. This one, and I think Yelin is here as well, right, Yelin?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session.
Yeah,
this is Ella. Yeah, I'm also a master's student in system science, and just welcome everyone.
Yeah, so that's me, Ajay. So I'm here as well. So I'm doing my master's in TTI, and also working with this awesome team and the club. So since 2019, and yeah, we have E. I don't know E. I like to call you Flora. So I keep calling you Flora. Don't mind.
No worries. I prefer you guys call me Flora.
Yeah. Do you just want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm already a graduate old guy, and I still trying to figure some time to take participation in everything around PDC, but since I'm still need like since I'm working, so I couldn't have too much time. But I'm trying to adjust the time, and I really love this group. And since I was the founder, and I feel I still need to touch a hand on this because I'm so care about that. But probably we should still, learn it to let it go and give it to successors.
No, we always need to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah, I know.
We are
I
always
mean,
there with PDC.
yeah, I mean, sorry, I didn't have time to organize this like I should be, but I didn't figure out the time to. But now I'm trying to get my tendency back. So yeah, I'll help with reviewing resumes later.
Sure. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you, E. So yeah, so the next slide. So we have program coordinators, and so as you see, there are different disciplines like computer science, civil environmental, DTI, ELG. So we have program coordinators for all of these disciplines. So the program coordinators kind of help, help students within their discipline or, the study that they are taking. So they help students to connect with PDC, and if they have any questions or anything that they have to discuss about their program, then you guys can reach out to these coordinators. And we have almost everyone here. So maybe let's start with Ali.
Hey guys, I'm also doing my master's in system science, and I'm excited to be here with you today. We're going to talk more later on, but I think that's going to be my short introduction.
Yeah. So yeah, the program coordinators like Navpreet, do you just want to say hi?
Hello guys. So I'm doing a master's in electrical and computer engineering. So always here to help. Welcome.
Cool. Rupleen, you want to go next?
Yeah. Hi everyone. This is Rupleen. I have some really bad internet connection, so I just cannot turn on the video. And I'll see you in some other slides regarding the resume. Thank you.
Yeah. And do we have any other program coordinators? I don't see the list.
Hello everyone. I'm Abdullah. I'm here.
Hey. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, I'm in the middle of the road, but still I'm giving my short introduction. So, yeah, I'm working as a program coordinator for DDI. I'm new in the club. Still, I started with some workshops with this club, and I got benefited, and I was really inspired by these executive members, and I joined in the club, and I really inspired everyone to join here. Please do come. Thank you all.
And
Thanks,
guys, be sure
Abdullah.
nothing is scripted. This is all his words. And
Okay, bye.
yeah, take care. Take care. And do we have any other coordinators?
I don't think so. Do we have Yunza? I don't think Farzana is here with us today, but
Farzana is-
Yunza.
No.
Nope. Okay, cool.
All right. So these are our coordinators, and we still are looking for more coordinators. So if you guys, if you guys want to help us, or if you guys think that this is something that's gonna benefit you, do send us. We have a volunteer form, so just sign in and send in, a few details that we asked you, and yeah, we are happy to, onboard you guys. So having said that, I just want to touch base on the main activities that, at PDC, what we do. So some of the main activities are we more, focus on the professional development of the students. So we kind of conduct more of the workshops on resume building, on, LinkedIn profile, and mock interviews, and if there's any industry partner, then we do have like a session, so where they come and they talk about the projects and different opportunities that students can have at their organization. So these are like kind of a few activities that we do, and we also do like fun activities. It's just not that we are just within the cell of doing the professional activities. We do fun activities like last year we did a potluck. So with COVID, we are thinking what we have to do, but for sure we'll try. We will be doing something in the reading week or the next week. And how PDC can help students. So like I mentioned, right, like we run so many different workshops, and when we run these workshops, we make sure that we kind of get the expert panelists. So if you have any questions, you can learn from the experience of the students or from the panel. So that's one thing. And we do have our website, like if you check that, gespdc.com. So Asta, could you just open that?
Yeah, I was about to ask you. Wait, give me a second.
Yeah, so this is our website, and if there's any, keep an eye on this website. Keep looking for here, because here is where we post in the events and the projects that are active. Where if you're interested in any of these projects, you can just come read the description, and if you have to send the resume, then there's the contact detail. You just send your resume to that person, and we'll take it further from there. Yeah.
Send it to him.
Yeah, so one thing is with this website, so this is like a beta. So this is the first version of the website that we have released. So if you go back to the slide, so here we have the feedback form. We also have the QR code. So if you guys just scan the code and do visit our website, and if you guys have any feedback, or if you guys there are like few of the areas that we can improve, then do fill in the feedback form and send us and just send it to us. And for sure we are improving, so you help us to improve and we grow together, right? So that's the whole idea. So this is all about PDC, about the projects, and about our website and things. So now I'll ask Ali to dive deep into the actual content of this workshop. Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
great. Thanks, AJ.
Yeah.
So let's talk about resumes. I want to start talking about the second topic of today's meeting by asking 3 questions and trying to answer them with you guys. The first question that we're going to try to answer is, what is the difference between a resume and the CV? Does anyone here have an answer for that? If anyone knows the answer, please just unmute yourself and tell me.
No, I don't think I have an idea.
Great. So we're going to answer it now. It's perfectly fine. A lot of the times we use them interchangeably, but the fact and the truth is that they're different. The resume is about your competence, where CV is about your credentials. But what does this mean? You're using your resume to showcase your skills, your achievements, and your work experience. But for CV, you're usually using the CV in jobs in academia, scientific research, and medical fields. So that's one difference. The other very important difference is the length of them. CV is usually much longer and in much more detail, whereas a resume is usually 1 or 2 pages maximum. So you don't really want to go into details when you're working on your resume. And today we're going to cover everything about resume. So for most of us as engineering graduate students, what we will need to do for job applications is to send out resumes. And it's important to understand the difference between the two. This takes me to my second question. And if you please go to the next slide, that would be, what is the optimal length of a resume? I briefly mentioned it in the previous question, but when you're talking about your resume, you need to forget about multiple pages of text. In fact, no hiring manager is going to read it. The optimal length for a resume, as I said, is 1 to maximum 2 pages. The other thing that you have to consider about your resumes is that resumes should be one-sided. You don't want double-sided on your resume. It's usually going to be missed by whoever is going to go through it. Another thing that I want to talk about, and it's an interesting fact about people who are going to read your resumes, is that the standard time for a hiring manager to go look at your resume or go through it is 30 seconds. But if that seems too little, let me tell you something even more interesting, or maybe scary. You only have 6 seconds to grab the attention of the recruiter who is going to decide whether they're going to put you in the interview pile or the garbage. So that's important. This is important because you need to fit everything in that 1 or maximum 2 pages. And you need to make sure that you're grabbing the attention of the hiring manager or the recruiter in those first couple of seconds. Again, this brings me to my third question, and that's what should you put on your resume? That's going to be the next slide. So it really depends, and there is no single answer to cover all situations. This also means that you shouldn't only have one resume for all the positions you're applying for. Every position that you apply for requires a different, modified version of your resume. In fact, you need to update or revise your resume each time you apply for a new position to make sure that it matches the position that you're applying for. But what do I mean by this? Let's say you're applying for a TA position or any academic position. You have to focus in your academic history, or like you have to make sure that the things that's related to your academic background is on the top. If you're applying for a job after you graduate, you need to focus on your experience, volunteering experience, work experience. If you're applying for a job that you have relevant skills, you need to make sure that these skills are on the top of your resume and they're perfectly visible. Remember, you only have 6 seconds to grab the attention of the recruiter. Other things that I want to briefly mention, and we're going to go into more details when we show you resume examples, but these are also other things that I want you to keep in mind when preparing your resume. First thing, include your volunteering experience if it's relevant to the position you're applying for. If you have done anything in the university or for work or as a side project and it's related to what you're applying for, you should put it on your resume. You also need to make sure you have a section for your skills. And it's usually going to be as in the form of keywords. So try to have, and this is a relatively new thing in resumes, to just have a section for skills and just put the keywords of the skills that you have. And there is a reason for that, because most of the resumes that you send are going to be first analyzed by software before they are submitted to the hiring manager. So if the keywords that they're looking for is not included in your resume, it's not even going to get to the hands of the hiring manager. So that's something to keep in mind. For education, make sure to include all the relevant coursework to the position you're applying for. If you have done any compulsory or elective courses, or you have even taken part in any workshops that are related to that position you're applying for, make sure to put it in your resume. They're all relevant, and it's perfectly fine to have them in your resume. Last thing that I want to talk about is about your contact information. One of the things that is very important for job applications here in North America is to include your LinkedIn profile link. You have to make sure it's also in sync with your resume. We're again going to go through an example about that, but keep that in mind. You need to have a LinkedIn page and update it and link it on the top of your resume next to your information. Also use a formal email address. Try avoiding nicknames like, well, I'm not going to give examples, but you don't want to use like a nickname like whatever. So instead use first name, last name, or if it's something similar to that, that's a better choice to go with. And the other thing that I want to talk about is that you don't necessarily have to put your full address in your resume, especially if the job that you're applying for is in another city. Now, this is something that you will get different feedback from different people on, but that has been something that I've heard from some of the people that I really respect in the university, and I think it works. So if you're applying for a job in another city, you don't really have to put your full address because it's a negative point for you to be living in a different location. So that's another thing to keep in mind. These were the points that I wanted to talk to you about today or tonight. But you will hopefully see some points that I talk about in more details through the examples. But for now, I'm going to ask Rupleen to tell you more about things to consider in your resume. Rupleen?
Thank you, Ali. It's important and highly recommended to sync your resume with your LinkedIn profile. Many companies don't ask you to send them your LinkedIn profile. However, it cannot be stressed enough just how big a role LinkedIn profiles play towards getting you hired. Having a LinkedIn profile on the top of your resume can be the difference between having your application accepted or rejected for an interview. So, as mentioned, there are various advantages of having saying both the things. First one being that LinkedIn reportedly has over 500 million users worldwide. So, obviously, it's super popular. With how popular LinkedIn has become, not having a LinkedIn profile is considered an oddity. LinkedIn profiles help people locate you on web. Generally, employers want to Google search their job applicants on web to get a feel for what they are all about. Connections get you referrals, and referrals get you hired. Therefore, connections play a huge role in the process of securing you a job. And those connections can be made through LinkedIn. So, moving on to the next slide. Yeah. So there are some common mistakes that we do while we are writing down our resumes. So starting with the first one, which probably is the worst resume deal breaker and it's basically one of the most common one that a job seeker should avoid, and that is spelling and grammatical error. It's better having someone else read over your resume to check for this sort of an error, since it can be hard to spot when you are the one who's written the thing. In addition, I would recommend you just printing your resume out to review, or also you can use some tools like Grammarly to scan your resume for spelling mistakes. The basic goal of a resume is to land you an interview. If you're missing relevant contact information or the contact information that you've included in is incorrect, you're making it difficult for the recruiters to get in touch with you. So it's very important to put up the correct and the complete contact information on your resume. If you have information that's outdated or irrelevant, your resume will go in the trash. Avoid certain things like mentioning your age, your hobbies, or your marital status on your resume. Unless it's relevant to the job, it does not belong to your on your resume. Also, since you'll be interviewed on the skills or the experience that you mention on your resume, therefore it's important not to mention something that you aren't comfortable with. When it comes to your resume format, usually less is more. So remember, like Ali said, the HR typically will have roughly 30 seconds to go through your resume. So it's highly recommended that you stick to a simple, clean resume designs that favors white spacing and makes it easy for the reader to quickly skim your information and understand your career story. Or else there or else there are more chances that your application might get skipped altogether. It's better to avoid dense blocks of text. And yeah, so this is how formatting and design play a. Also, it's very important to considerate about the length of your resume. As discussed already, the resume should be kept short, and there shouldn't be any irrelevant or redundant information. The maximum resume length can be 2 pages, but usually 1 page should be enough. Moving on to the next slide. So during our job hunting, people usually apply for various sorts of posts, and hence it becomes very crucial to tailor or update your resume according to the post that you apply for. You don't need to update your entire resume or restructure it with each position that you apply. Instead, a few nicks and tucks will go. The mentioned steps in the slide aren't any standard or specified steps, but they're framed for easy comprehension of the tailoring process. Like mentioned in the step one, it's very important to review the job description. For your resume to be a good match for the job, it's important to know that what the employers want and what are the requirements for the position. It's better to just jot down the list of major keywords as you go through the description. Next step is reading your current resume. Now that you have a sense of what skills and abilities that the position calls that you've applied for, read your current resume and see if the required skills or the experience are already listed. Generally, hiring managers have a tendency to scan quickly and not read thoroughly, so make sure the important details are listed on the top half of the page and not at the bottom, or the second page, of course. Thirdly, update the key sections. Since, like already mentioned, that it's not worth the time to update your entire resume or restructure it completely with every job that you apply. Instead, target some. Sorry.
Yeah. Did anyone have a question?
Yeah. I think
I
that was
guess
my
no.
mistake.
Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, so I'll continue. So there are certain key sections that we can focus on for updating. The first being like the summary section, if that's present there on your resume. So update it so that it's clear how you are a good match for the position that you're applying for. Also, you can alter the experience section by just giving priority to the most relevant details for the job so that the readers are sure to catch them. Finally, just proofread your resume just to make sure that there are no grammatical or spelling errors, and then you can save your updated resume. Now I'll pass on to Navpreet for the further discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruplin. So, like most of you guys are in your first term of study, you would ask one question like, when we don't have any intention of getting job now, why should we? What happened, Asa? Asa?
We still see the screen.
I'm
Yeah.
not seeing her screen.
Can you
Let's share again.
wait? Can you see it now?
Yes, Asa.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yep.
working.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Perfect.
So, like I was speaking, like most of you are in your first term of your study, so you might have one question like, you don't need a job right now, so why prepare your resume now? So I can think of these 4 points. First is understand your career objectives better. So when we actually write down things, we become more clear. So there might be some technologies or tools which we actually worked on, but we might have forgotten with time. So while writing, we do remember those. And moreover, guys, like we work very hard to learn skills and technologies and everything. So 2 pages are very less to describe all our achievements. So we might have to dig deep down and to prioritize things, and that requires time. And second point is practice makes us perfect. So like most of us, I was discussing this with Asa. I have 14 resumes in my trash and still my resume is not perfect. So this is a stepwise process. The steps goes like somewhat like this: prepare our initial draft, format it, get reviewed, make changes, get reviewed again, and as time passes by, we'll get better. Our resume will get better. So then next point is regular updations. So as we move towards the completion of our degree, so we would work on more projects, learn new skills, do certifications, and as soon as we get that accomplishment, we should update it on our resume. So that way it would be more focused if we have it fresh in our mind, right? So the last point is keep up with the trends. So if we have a resume ready now, so we would be more like we would know which skills we possess and which we need to get a dream job or what the company requires, and that way we would upgrade our skill set. So and can learn the new ones. All in all, there is no such definition of a perfect resume. So neither is, as Ali told us, that neither is one resume applicable to all the jobs. So as you all and we all will go through the application processes, we would know how to alter a resume as per the job requirements, right? So next slide, Asa. Okay, so we do have some resources in the universities to help you with your resume writing. These first two links are for the Career Development Center. If we would open that, you would know that there are different resumes there for the engineering, for the arts, everyone. The third link is for the RG website. So we do have some guidelines over there too. Then the CDC Career Development Center, they do review our resumes. We can approach them anytime. And you guys can also approach PDC members for our feedback. Like we do peer review in groups like me and Astha, Ajay and Karamveer, and Flora and Ali. We can do it for you. Astha, could you copy that link in the chat? Okay. So guys, you can Astha will okay, I'll do that. I have that open.
Yeah, I think I pasted that on the slide as well, and we will be sharing the slide deck with you guys. So we have a link. We would like you to, I think it's somewhere here. Let me.
I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll just open the form and show everyone like what it is. Mainly, if I can, let's see. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. So guys, this
Yes,
is
Astha.
awesome. So this is basically a form for you guys to book an appointment with us if you want. So as we mentioned, we have these mentor groups you can call, or mentor pairs that we have formed for you, and we can help you. Actually, initially we were having an idea to split into like breakout rooms and have that done, but I think the better idea is if you want to get your uh, resume reviewed personally, you can approach to us by filling this form. I think Navpreet might have shared the link.
Yeah, I shared it in the chat also.
Awesome. So this form, you can fill in your availability. Feel free to choose your time accordingly, and you can mention any other time if you want and upload your resume. We will match you with the available mentors, and they can book a time slot for 20-30 minutes with you, and you can just have your resume reviewed. We can work on it closely with you, right? So we can help with that, definitely.
Okay, now we have example for good and bad resume.
Right. So this is the fun part, right? So now we want you guys to interact with us. Too much of us speaking. So now you are going to interact with us. Can everybody see how like things are arranged on this resume? Everybody is able to see it clearly?
No, it's blurry. Like it's very
Yeah,
small.
can you zoom in, please?
Is it okay now?
No, a bit more. Sorry.
A bit more. Let me try doing something then.
Asta,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just because it's on the presentation. Do you have the Word file for this? Maybe you just want to open that file or the PDF.
Okay, let me try doing that, guys. Just give me a second. Okay, I think this should work. Sorry about that. Can you view my screen now?
Yes.
And it's
Can you
much
please
better.
zoom in one of the pages? Because
Yeah.
yeah,
Does it look
looks
good?
good to me.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So, all right, I'll just scroll down really slowly, guys. Have a very, very, very observant kind of look. Like you need to open up all your senses and look. What do you find is weird with this resume? I want you guys to participate. Tell us what is wrong with this resume, right? This is a bad resume, just to give you a heads up, but you need to identify what is wrong with the resume.
Or you can raise your hands or unmute yourself. Okay.
Can I try viewing it like both of the pages together
Someone,
if possible?
someone has raised their hands. Yes, Shivani.
Hey, hi everyone. I don't know. I think they have not mentioned their objective. I mean, in the very start. So
Right.
that yeah, and I think technical skills is something which should be put in points, not like a not like I understand these are points like in sort of a table wherein you're just telling like these are your skills, HTML, SQL, and all those things.
Okay, so
Right.
are you telling that they have to be categorized in a proper
Yeah,
way?
right.
Okay.
Like soft
Cool.
skills or
Mhm.
um, in these 2 points probably.
You
Mm,
got 2 points. Go more, dig more. Yes, you're there.
yeah. I mean, I've just started from the starting, so I think, yeah, that's what I have in mind right now. And yeah, other things like I think what I would like is bolding up those things which are like very important. Like for example, HTML and SQL is something which, and JavaScript is something I would look for. So probably like if they could just bold those things up or other other things in the bottom, like if there is some research part which they want to bold exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I'm
And
sorry,
do
I'm
you
just
also?
thinking out loud. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. I mean, that's amazing observation, Shivani. So, do you think, even since we are talking about technical skills, guys, everyone, so don't you think that this person who is Draco Malfoy, just to remind you of Harry Potter, so I was trying to be funny there. So, don't you think he's boasting a lot about his skills? Do you think like he knows everything, knowledge of MySQL, SQL, NoSQL, web apps, everything, and then very good debugging
I
skills?
think
What's very
before that,
good
we have
debugging
one
skills?
more hand raised.
Awesome. Go ahead.
Shubni.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, hi everyone. So first of all, you guys are doing amazing. So that's a good job. So okay, so first thing that I came across is the address. I don't know if somebody is supposed to put the personal information. And secondly, as you just said, Navpreet, that LinkedIn and Roop, the LinkedIn ID, that should be, I think, important. Then also the first impression, what I got from this resume is there's so much content. So I was like, what to read exactly? So it could have been a bit precise, I guess.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. You got 3 points. I think you guys are tying on the score, right? So yeah, go. So I would say yes, definitely. Ali can add on that about the address, about the email. Ali, would you like to
Ye-
point that out? What's wrong with the email?
Exactly. That's exactly what we're talking about. So for the email address, it's like cool Draco at whatever.com. Don't use that. I know I have a nickname email address, and I never put it on my resume. If you don't already have a first name last name format for your personal email, create one and use that only and exclusively for your resume. And I agree with Shupneet on the address. I'm personally against putting too much details for the address, but same city, I think it's good. But no, the apartment number, these are distraction. Think of it this way: if anything is distraction, just don't put it there. So yeah, that would be the things that I would fix with the address.
Right. Exactly. And yeah, as I was even mentioning before, that like the wordings that they have used is like really
Asta,
vague. Mm-hmm.
I want to add one point.
Right.
Yeah, I was
Go ahead.
thinking, yeah, maybe this person, if they could add their LinkedIn profile link on their resume or a GitHub link, that would add more, weightage to their resume.
Exactly. Yeah. I think yes, that's what Shubneet, right? Like she was also mentioning. That's exactly as well here. So GitHub, you brought up a really cool point, Ajay. So if you are a coder and if you know so much, where is the proof? Like he just knows everything and we have no proof, right? So GitHub, definitely that's important. If you know so many skills, you need to show it. It kind of works as your portfolio, right? So that's a very good point, Ajay. So try to juggle a little bit more with your observation skills, guys.
I have something else to say about this resume.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ordering of the sections is also wrong.
Right.
You see that the education and work experience are on the second page. You have to put the important things. If this is a job application, your work experience should be on top, maybe after your skills. So the ordering is also very important.
Exactly. That's a very important point we should not miss on. So even like people keep getting confused with where the education should lie, like whether we should put work experience first or the education first. Doesn't matter about that much, but it should be in the front page. Like it should be highlighted definitely. And I would say work experience can be put before education in most of the cases, because that's what like companies look for mostly. So you can do that, but definitely it should not be at the end, right? Like they have, and one more important thing, if you look closely into work experience, first of all, font, you can see like these.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was about to say that, the font, the formatting is a bit incorrect. Should be even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bingo, there you go. So font size formatting is not at all. Other thing is wedding photographer. Okay, so you are applying for, I think his skills are mostly like programming and IT related, right? And he's saying that he's a wedding photographer. That's really weird. So make sure that even if you want to highlight your other work experience, it should be relevant to what you have done. So rather than talking about all kind of work experiences, make sure you go through as Ali was mentioning, like there's a need to go through the job descriptions really well, and you should highlight those skills on your resume, on your work experience. So that's one thing. Second thing that I would like to focus is also this. He's a co-founder of his own company, startup with employees. Like I think I was about to mention 5 employees there, so I missed that. So where I was in charge of everything. So if you're applying for a job, generally after graduation, you're expected, you're applying for an entry-level job. So it's okay to show that you have leadership qualities, you have those skills, you have your own company, but you can wait till the interview, right? Like try to mention all the relevant information there, which will help them to understand that you are a right candidate. And if you're definitely applying for an entry-level job, the interviewers don't expect you, or the hiring manager don't expect you to have your own job, like own company. Then right, why are you applying for the job at the first place? So it's good, you can mention it, but that's something that you should keep in mind, right? So yeah, I think, is there anything else? Let's see. Let's look on more points, guys. Let's look on the education. What do you guys think here?
20% degree with job person.
January 2019 till present. Anything wrong there? Anything wrong with the bachelor of, like, from where? Question mark. No idea.
These are both not in sequence, right? If you are using the university, the degree, use it first in both. If you are using date first, use in both, that too first, or keep date to the left, that would to the right, sorry.
Right, exactly. Like this, right? Like
it's very important to be consistent, I think, and that's why it's sometimes better to use templates, because they have this fields that you have to fill in if you think you're gonna do something wrong. start with a template and then modify that. That's what I always do. And so I make sure I don't forget following the same sequence of stuff.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Yeah, and I don't understand the purpose of mentioning current average of A plus undertook. I mean, I'm not a big fan of that, so I don't think so any recruiter would be, kind of interested in those things. They would be more focused and more interested in the skills and what you bring to them.
Exactly right. And also with regards to this, they have mentioned so many abbreviations like MSc, Comms, Sign. Like why? Why won't you just write full, right? Like
Yeah,
write
and what is
masters in
comp? True,
Comms,
exactly.
right? So
responsibility for handling cases of human.
Ooh, yeah, responsibility is very important.
sorry, I just missed something. Do we
No,
have
it's
a point from someone?
no, it's just that my ears are very sharp, so I could hear those words that were running in the background. So I was just reiterating.
Right. So yes, I mean, when you see the applied projects that this guy has here, it's good to mention the projects. Like you can mention the projects, but you should be aware of what job you're applying for. Again, the same point that I'm repeating. If you're aware about that, it's better to kind of highlight those kind of projects. So he worked on a project in, like, the name of the project is there. In another project, he mentioned the role first, and then he mentioned the project later. And like, if you're mentioning it, try to be concise, try to like leave something to talk in the interview. Just you can talk about all of this in your interview, definitely. So that's one point that I just noticed.
Like most of the interviews, sometimes they like ask a question. Okay, tell me something that isn't on your resume. So we definitely need to keep something for there.
If we put everything on the resume, what you will do on the interview, right? So exactly, a good point. And then talking about qualities, so make sure, guys, not to mention those qualities. Like generally we tend to mention, like, some qualities that are expected from us, like having good presentation skills or having good communication skills are general, right? Like that are expected from any person who is doing a master's and who is applying for a job. So highlighting those kind of, you're not a kid, right? Like we all know that. So try not to populate your resume with unnecessary information. So yeah, I think we have scrutinized this resume a lot. We have criticized Draco Malfoy a lot for now. Do you guys want to look at the good example then?
Yes,
Let's
please.
move to
I
the
have
good
a
example.
question. Hey, hi. I'm sorry. I have a question. So is it how good is it to add extracurricular in your resume? And what kind of extracurricular is accepted? I mean, what if someone has a good sports history, and they were like gold medalists or something? That can they mention it here?
Okay, I can answer that question for you maybe. So again, like as we are discussing about relevance to the job, Shivani, maybe that are Shivani, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. So maybe that's something again that like your hobbies or extracurricular, if you think that something is relevant to the job. For example, if you're expected to be applying for a position like a, communications officer or something like that, then mentioning such kind of extracurricular activities that have, like maybe extempo speech competition, you got a prize in that, you can mention that. Definitely. I would I would suggest mostly here in Canada, I have heard a lot that they talk a lot about volunteer experience. So if you have any such experience, that kind of gives your resume a really like different kind of a highlight, like maybe you are you're organizing meditation workshops, that's a good thing to mention. Maybe that's kind of like a highlighting point for you. So if you have space in your resume, and if you think you can put in those kind of volunteer activities, definitely go for it. I would say you should put that, but don't overpopulate it with unnecessary information again.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you
So
so much.
So,
I need
sir, I wanted to ask, like, when you say don't put communications and interpersonal skills, like that's what we're supposed to have. So, what kind of skills can we put? Let's say we're applying for a job and we really don't have like we're not software savvy and we don't want to put that. Oh, we okay, for me, I'm not software savvy, so I really don't want to put, oh, I know this software, and I don't want a situation that I'm lying, like I'm good in this software, whereas I'm not good. So I'd rather leave it out and keep learning on the software. So what kind of skills can I put instead of just leaving it there and blank without having any skill?
I think that's a very good question to like which you will see in the good resume example itself. So let me open that for you, because that kind of drives me towards the next example. That's where you can see the example and like you can come to know about that. So can you see it here? Is
Yeah,
is it visible or is it blurry?
it's visible.
Okay, cool. So if you can see in the skills, this person has really organized their skills. They don't have a lot of programming skills, so they have mentioned, if you see, they have just mentioned proficient there. Like if they know it, they have mentioned proficient there. Otherwise, they would just like mention, like leave it. But if you see here, business skills, so they mention specific kind of skills that are for sure, if you're applying for a communications job, they will mention a lot of things on their job description, that we are looking for a candidate who is good in customer targeting, right? Planning,
Yeah.
strategic planning. So these are the kind of words that you should definitely use. Like team management, it's good to mention that. Business operations, good to mention. Supervision, project organization, ROI understanding. So these are the technical words that they might be looking for. What we were trying to convey is just that, like, if you mention very generic skills, right? Like good communication skills, something like that, if you mention it, that's not going to fetch you so much of attention as compared to targeted skills for the job that you're applying. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. So yeah, so here we have Harry Potter. So we can take a look on this resume and kind of try to compare. Oops. Is it visible, guys, or shall I open this in the Word document as well?
No, it's visible.
Cool. So let's have a look at this and try to look, like, even if you think that something is missing or something is not right here, just feel free to share that. But most of things that we have discussed is being covered here. So if you see, they have, so when we talk about professional summary, we were discussing this, I was earlier discussing this with Ali as well. It completely depends upon you guys. Generally, as Ali mentioned, that there is only limited amount of time for the hiring manager to look at your resume. It's like really less. So if you don't write a really good summary, then like, they don't really tend to read your summary, to be honest. Like, they will focus on the skills, they will focus on your work history, and that's it. So this resume, if you see, it's a 2-page resume. It's covering most of it. And like it's like it is somewhere close to what we have been discussing. So if you see, like, they have their email, they have their numbers, they have their LinkedIn, and they have mentioned that they are situated in Ottawa. So that's okay. That's okay to mention that. Okay, like, if this guy is applying for companies in Ottawa, they can mention that yes, they are situated in Ottawa. So that helps. I think skills are organized, feel free to share your comments, guys. What do you guys think is another like good point about this one?
For me, the CV is just, you don't even really need to read it. Like, just mere looking at it, you can just glance through and you get points quickly. Like, just glancing through, you already know what the like Harry Potter is offering to the table, and it gives you more. It gives you it makes you want to read more and stay more, and because of the way it's arranged, how it's laid out, everything, it's interesting to go deep into, to okay, offer, let's say, an interview to Harry Potter or something.
Exactly, bingo. That's right? Like you can look at this. This is clean. This is organized well. This is well, formatted. I think Harry Potter used a template, so
It's
maybe
consistent.
it's consistent, right?
Yeah. And I think someone have a question on what was the font used by the Harry Potter. So if you wanna, if you know,
Okay.
because they like the font for some reason. It's good.
Yeah.
It's
So
an
Harry Potter
easy to
has
read
to.
font, to be honest. Like
Exactly.
if you do the same resume with a little bit, you want to use a very easy to read, and it looks like what is it? I don't want to. Verdana, the default font on every Microsoft Office.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a fancy made for resume font. It's just something to be easy on the eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you can just scan through it very easily. You don't have to stress a lot.
Yay, Harry Potter is happy. So if you see one thing that I would like to point out, which Ali actually point out when we were going through this one. Many a times, when you try to put a link on your Word document or any kind of Word file or any kind of, Word document. Okay. So when you try to put a link there, they suggest you to enter a title for that link. We tend to do that a lot of times, and maybe we can just write, like, if I try to go and enter a link, maybe I'll just show it to you. So I might enter a text to display here as just LinkedIn, because we are habitual of that during our corporate writing or resume, generally, like, email writing. So I might just put LinkedIn here. But one good thing that Ali pointed out is that this would make it, not accessible for offline document. It's only accessible in a digital document. So make sure that you don't do that, because generally, like, I have a tendency to put a heading to every link. So that's something that I was doing a lot of times, and that's something that Ali really pointed out, and I really like that point. So I wanted to make sure I convey it to you guys. So just put the link there as it is.
Yeah,
Because
and
you might-
LinkedIn allows you to customize your profile. Like we can have a whole different session on LinkedIn alone, but when you create your LinkedIn profile, by default, the name, like the last part / Harry Potter, it's going to be a messed up mix of words and numbers, but you can customize it. Like in my case, it's my first name, last name, and you want that. Maybe put a dash in between first name and last name. There's no rule really for it, but something that's readable and easy to type in if anyone is ever curious to go to your LinkedIn page.
Exactly. So yeah, if you want to go through this, they have a good professional summary, skills are well organized, work history as well. Like, it's not a lot of that. They have minimal points, but they are expressing everything that they did mostly. And then there is education. Then there is relevant project experience. Again, it's relevant project experience, guys. It's relevant to the job that they are applying for. So if, for example, they're applying for a website development job, or even digital marketing requires a knowledge of website development or content management system. So they have it there. They are they have it clearly mentioned there that, okay, this is a relevant project experience, and then volunteer experience. So I think
Yeah,
It
Asta.
is. Mhm.
Yeah, I have a question. So, do you think that the work history and the experience, I mean, they kind of go together, or like it's like the work experience and the experience, they are kind of similar. So I was thinking maybe is it that they go together, or it has to be like a two separate, things.
So generally, yeah, that's a good point, Ajay, actually. So work history is generally, I was mentioning it the other day as well. So if you have a work experience that just like a 4 months work experience, I would rather put it into project experience or internship experience, right? Like work history can should be like around when they, because they talk about work experience, they need to know how many years of work experience they have. So in work history, if you have around more than 8 months of a work experience, it can be volunteer, guys, it can be a volunteer experience completely. But if you have around, more than 6 months, at least 6 months, then put it in the work history, which is like very relevant. And if it's a very, like standing out kind of a work that you did, you should definitely put it in your work history. And if it's like something that you just, like you just did it as a side project, but you think it's relevant and you just finished it in like 2 months, 4 months, but you still want to mention it in your resume, you can put it in your relevant project experience or project work. You can just rename it as relevant project work. Does that answer your question, Ajay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think we have another question here. That's from Elin. So she's trying to ask, can I also mention my side interests? I see someone's resume example, they mention about this.
As I said, I think side interest is again like one similar to extracurricular kind of, right? Like if that's something, again, if you think is standing out, like for example, if I believe in, I want to highlight that I coordinate for meditation, right? Like that's something very required in the workplace nowadays as well. They organize workshops around mental health, meditation, and like health kind of. So you can mention that. That's like your side interest, maybe. So that will kind of help them to distinguish you from the other candidates. That is good to mention. If you think that you have like you have put everything and you still want to mention it, you can definitely mention it. I would say that, like, it should be relevant. You should feel that it's not unnecessary there, and it will help them distinguish. It is highlighting your uh, specific kind of skill, that okay, you're a self learner. Maybe if you're a self learner, then you might highlight like you did self learning for a project or something like that.
Yeah. So
Correct
I
me,
see.
like,
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
Yelin.
Yeah, I see there's an example. So his resume is a little bit more, how to say this, like more short, and he has a specific section in the corner of the resume, have some, some icons, and he's playing like hockey, he's seeing movies, something like that. So I think it's pretty interesting. It's not like a regular resume, like in like what we're showing this. So I'm just thinking probably we can mention something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I have seen that kind of resumes mostly, Yelin, of like, creative kind of positions like that. Those are like more of a creative resume. So if you're a designer, if you're a creative, like graphic designer or something, people generally tend to play with their resume in that sense. Like they have really, like different or standing out kind of resumes, and it's good to have that. Like people have one pager resume. I for a long time I had a pager resume, and it worked. When I applied for internship, it worked. It was when I was applying in a company like Kinaxis for my co-op. At that time, they were mentioning. I remember that I don't know why people have one pager resume. I don't like that guy I was talking to was a little bit. He was a hiring manager again, but he was again like a little bit older in age. So he was like, no, I would like to see like more elaborated resume. Elaborated as in like it should be good to eyes. So even if it's one page resume, even if it's like a creative resume, it should be clear. It should be well displayed, I would say. And I've seen that. Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah. So, and just to add on top of what Asta was mentioning, as far as your resume is, hitting, the bullseye, like the most required things, like the skill and the experience and those, the words that are highlighted in the job description. Once you have that, and if you think that you can mention something, that's extracurricular, there's no harm. You can do that, but you have to make sure that's not like, it's not like a something that's taking the focus off your resume to your extracurricular. It can be there, but it should be like an asset. It should not be used as a liability. Just to mention that.
Yeah, that sounds great. Like if you want to mention it, we should just put it in the bottom or
Yeah,
Right.
like
corner.
for this person, it can be in the like in volunteer experience or beneath volunteer experience, maybe, right?
Mhm. Yes, yes.
Or in the corner, as you were saying, yeah. I
Okay.
think I had one pager resume as well. If we have time, I could show that, but I don't want you guys to see my desktop. You will faint. um,
Don't
so
worry, we'll have a workshop on managing the desktops.
yeah, I really need that one. So yeah, I don't want to overwhelm everyone with a lot of information, to be honest. And if we have more things to discuss, guys, please feel free to reach out to us for your reviews, like resume reviews, if you want us to review it for you. And it's always good to have like a third person, because to be honest, till today, I was not aware about what is wrong with my resume, because I did not had kind of my updated resumes reviewed. But when my friends saw that and they suggested me a few things, I was like, yeah, I need to work on it, right? So I was talking to Navpreet, I think, and I was mentioning, like, in my resume folder, I have like more than 20 resumes, more than 20 to 25 resumes. So those are all like, you have to keep doing it. It's like depends, if you join the professional development workshop courses, there is whole session for you to just shortlist job descriptions. You will just keep on shortlisting the job descriptions for one whole class, and that's really important. So yeah, if you have any reviews, if you want to discuss anything, we still have a couple of minutes. I think 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes.
I'm sorry. So I've been trying to prepare my CV so I can start sending it out. This is like my last semester. And my aunt has been helping me review them, but she keeps updating it. But is it possible to send it to one of you to help me review, just to have a third opinion, if you don't mind?
Yeah, for sure, Alexandra. So you remember we talked about the mentors. So if you see, like, we will share that. But Navpreet shared a link. Can you reshare that again, Navpreet? So
Yeah.
if you can fill out this form, Alexandra, you can upload your resume in through that form,
Okay.
and we will match you with a available mentor pair. So there would be like a pair. There would be two people who will help you review your resume amongst us. So it can be Ali and Flora. It can be me and Navpreet. It can be Ajay and Karambir. So there is the link again. So guys, if you want your resumes to be reviewed, please feel free to reach out to us, and you can pass on this link to your friends as well who were not able to attend the session today, and just tell them to reach out to us. We can try our best, definitely, and maybe you guys can review our resumes. It's a
Thank you
both
so
way
much.
process. No problem. We can share our resumes at that time with you, so it would be a proper peer review. So yeah, please make sure you access this document using your UOTWA Gmail. We want that information, at least, like, if you have the UOTWA Gmail with us, so that would help. Was I supposed to share a link? Volunteer management form, maybe volunteer.
Oh yeah, you can share. I think they need that.
Right.
I have one more question.
Go
I
ahead.
was just asking for a 2-year course, like say for
Uh,
example, yeah, can you hear me?
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so for a 2-year course, say for example, so that's not an example. Okay, I'm in engineering management, and I have just started this fall. So how early do usually we send out resumes for internship or I mean, job is a long time now. Like there are 2 years now, but for internships or anything, is there any time frame exactly in U Ottawa? Uh, j- I understand that's a different question from what we did today, but yeah,
It's a
because
relevant
yeah,
question, definitely. And
okay,
I completely understand your concern because I have been there. To be honest,
okay,
the birth of PDC for me took place from that situation where I had nothing to do because I did not apply for internships on time. So I was like, okay, what to do? So we created PDC. So yeah, going back to your question.
mm,
Um, I would say, like, generally, if you are applying, correct me if I'm wrong, Ali, Ajay, you guys have experience with that. So, generally, if it's for winters, you should start applying 4 months prior to that. Like, if it's for January, it should be from September that you should apply. If it's for summer, which is very competitive, generally, summer is like people apply vigorously for internships. So, that for summer, you should apply from November to December. The earlier you apply, the more chances you have. So
okay,
so they start publishing more and more jobs from, like, generally it's 4 months before, even before 4 months you can start seeing job positions available.
okay. And you mean I can start seeing them on Indeed .ca places like that, right? Okay,
Indeed,
okay.
LinkedIn is very important.
LinkedIn.
I haven't got any call from LinkedIn ever, to be honest. Did you guys, any of you have any experience with LinkedIn? If Indeed, sorry, Indeed.
yeah, I was like shocked.
No. Indeed, LinkedIn is good. Indeed,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
ZipRecruiter I did get.
right. So, my experience, like there are few employers, they are kind of active on Indeed and a few on LinkedIn. So it's like a mix and match. So it's better to have like your profile on both of these, applications. So it's better to have your profile on LinkedIn as well as Indeed, because there are like very few recruiters who do prefer Indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, I just have one more question. I'm so sorry. Did I cut you? Like, please go
No,
ahead.
no, no.
Okay. Okay. So my question was like, I have relevant experience around 4 to 5 years here in India. So, and that's relevant, right? So, for example, if I'm applying for a programming position and it is relevant. So, do I need to mention it in the resume as well? Does that work in Canada? Okay. Okay.
So, uh,
Any experience that you have that you think can help you get that internship, do mention it.
Okay.
exactly.
Got it.
One confusion that you might have is like, how much should because if you have,
Yeah.
like, for example, you have two or three experiences, and they total sum up to 5 years, right? Like, you have in
Yeah.
different companies, so please mention the most recent ones. So, like, take a margin of maybe 2 years. Like, if you're applying, not even 2 years, I would say, like, if you're applying for 2021, then your job experience should not be, older than 2017 or 2018, I would say. if
Okay.
if you're confused, right? Like, if, for example,
Yeah.
you had a job from 2017 to 2019, that would go, but before
Yeah.
that, avoid it. Like, why do waste space, right? So
I understand. Yeah. Totally. Yeah, I understand. Okay. Thank you.